Well, I'm here with my turtle Terra, and pets are amazing. But there are many reasons why sometimes it's in the best interest of everyone that you don't get a pet. So that I will be talking about all pets in general and not just about turtles. If you want to know why turtles in particular suck, we made a video about them over here about why turtles make bad pets. Take everything with a grain of salt. Not everything will be applicable to all animals. Keep the pet that you are wanting to buy in the back of your mind while I go over these things, and you will have a clearer picture if that pet is a bad pet in general for you. The first thing obviously is responsibility. Different pets require different amount of attention, different amount of care. Turtles over here are they require a pretty low maintenance. They just require some food and sunlight and all. They don't require a daily care. I mean, they do require daily care, but they don't have as much as care needs as like a dog or a cat. But they do still have a lot of care, like changing their water and keeping their tank clean, making sure they are growing healthy. And different pets will have different needs. Dogs demand a lot of attention. The care requirement of a dog is way more, and every pet is different. Parrots have a higher care requirement than budgies, and different pets have different care requirement. Just make sure that you will be able to take that responsibility and manage whatever you are doing, school or work, or just be sure that you will be able to take time for your pet and give your pet a very good life. Also ask yourself if you are ready to pick up their poop every day or do whatever it takes to take care of that animal properly. The second thing to consider will be lifespan. Different animals have different lifespan. Turtles over here, radial slider, have nearly 30 years of age as a lifespan. Just think, are you willing to commit yourself to that much of responsibility? Will you be able to take care of the animal? Will you be able to take care of the animal right now and also 30 years down the line? Recently, a lot of the dogs have been returned to shelters, and that I think was very selfish of people. They just took dogs home because they were bored in quarantine, and now that they are getting back to their regular life, they have much more work. They just returned the dog, and I think that was very selfish. They knew that the dog will get attached to them. Also, the dog does not just live for a small time. They knew that they would not have time in the long term, but they decided to get a dog anyway. So yes, please don't do that. Look at the lifespan and think what you will be doing look at the pet, look at whichever pet that you are willing to buy, maybe turtle over here, like 30 years, and think what you will be doing in 30 years, and will you be able to take care of the pet 30 years from now, and you will have your answer. The third thing will be asking yourself, do you really want this animal and do you really like this animal? Or is it just that you saw a reel on Instagram or a video from Snake Discovery or Clint's Reptile and you think the pet is awesome? That happens a lot of the time, especially to me. I love basically all the animals. So I do remember that I wanted goldfish very badly. Also, I wanted rabbits very badly. I just saw a bunch of videos of rabbit and just instantly fell in love with them. I just wanted them, and yes, after 2 to 3 months, now that I look back, I don't think getting a rabbit will be a good idea because of the care requirement and the space requirement. Just because a reptile or any pet is stinking rad for Clint doesn't mean it would be a great pet for you as well. So yes, think about it. Is the pet? Do you really like the pet? My suggestion would be to wait 2 to 3 months before you get the pet, and by that time, I think you will have a clearer idea if you actually really like that pet. The fourth thing is that keeping in mind that pets do die, and a lot of the times they will die before you. Sometimes they will live to their fullest, complete their whole lifespan, and then die. And in other cases they will die very young. In either ways, you usually will get very attached to the animal and you will feel very sad. So yes, keep in mind that pets will eventually pass away and you will feel very hurt and you will feel very sad at that day. And one thing to do will be asking yourself if you give your pet the best The fifth thing will be that pets can be expensive. Now, some pets will be much more cheaper than other pets. Dogs are one of the most expensive pets that you can ever get. Also, keep in also while thinking about expense, don't just think about the initial cost of the pet. Like over here, the turtles. Red-eared sliders are super cheap. They are very cheap, but their housing and the care and the food, it's not as cheap as the turtle. So do consider the cost of food, the cost of any other requirement like light bulbs they require. Also take in, yes, also any other things like filters and any other that sort of stuff. Also vaccination of the pet and grooming of the pet. Keep all those things in mind and not just the initial cost. The best thing will be just getting estimate beforehand and thinking about the expense before getting the pet. Do not ask the pet stores. The pet stores for some reason give you the worst advice in keeping any animal. Budgies, they will give you a small cage which is not adequate. Turtles, they will give you a small bowl, not adequate. Again, hamsters too, they just give you something like a dollhouse. Pet stores have the worst advice. Do not go to them. Go to other sources like good YouTubers and websites. Do not ask the pet store, please. The sixth thing will be housing of the pets. Again, one of the expense which mostly goes overlooked by many keepers. Either they just don't consider it or they are usually misled by the pet store employees. The little turtle that you got won't just stay in this forever. The turtle, once it grows, it usually won't even fit in this, okay? So yes, you should consider the cost of housing the pet. Now, a turtle like this, a full-grown red-eared slider, requires a fairly large tank, which can get pretty expensive. Now, my turtles over here do not really like deep water, as I talked about earlier. So, my turtles don't have that kind of enclosure, but usually for a normal turtle, you will require this enclosure, something like this. So yes, keep that in mind. Every pet have different requirement. Every pet requires different enclosure, but keep the cost of a proper enclosure in mind before you get the animal. The seventh thing will be bacteria and diseases. Now turtles carry salmonella just like many other reptiles, and salmonella may make you sick, especially if you are old or very young or your immunity is compromised because of anything. So yes, different turtles have different bacteria on them which can harm you and your family members. So you should keep in mind if you have somebody like very old parents or very young kids, or just keep that in mind that turtles and other reptiles and just other pets do contain other bacteria and ticks and other stuff that may give you some diseases. So keep that in mind before you get a pet. Also, do not forget about allergies. Many people are allergic to fur of animals, and they just cannot live with a cat or a dog or anything like that, anything that has fur. So keep that in mind. Some people are also allergic to dander, which falls off some birds. They don't fall off budgies, but cockatoos and macaws, they do have some dander, and that might trigger your allergies. And so yes, be sure that you do not have allergy from fur or dander. So yes, be sure that you are okay and taking the risk about the diseases and also considering all allergies before you get a pet. I was thinking about it and wondering how people with like this hundreds of animals stay safe themselves and keep their animals safe. And I've come up with a video like that, so be sure to subscribe if you want to watch that video. Now that I think about it, I think I should have made that video before, like at the start of the pandemic when people were dumping their pets in fear of COVID. But yes, I will be making that video soon. It will be titled something like how to stay safe with a ton of pets or something like that. The 8 and the 9 things are mostly towards more demanding pets like dogs and cats. They do not really apply to pets like turtles or tarantulas and other pets that can live without you too. The 8th thing will be losing your freedom. Now, when you do not have pet, you can make plans on the spot. You can go on vacations. You can do anything. But when you have pets, you will have to make sure that someone can take care of your pet, and that can be your relative or your pet sitter. But you will have to plan ahead of time Also, you will have to get back from work or school at a specific time to feed your dog or cat. So yes, you do lose some freedom. You will have to make arrangement for your dog, or you will have to be present yourself. Either ways, you will have to plan in advance. So yes, keep that in mind before getting any of those demanding pets. The ninth thing will be destruction to property, and while making this point, I am clearly looking at dogs, cats, rabbits, and any other thing that can rip your couch and scratch your walls. Just keep in mind how you are going to deal with that. That will also be an expense, and your home might look way dirtier after getting a pet. So keep that in mind. So yes, that was the video. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Watch some other videos. Do subscribe and share. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.